$125 billion. That's the amount of money international students and other immigrants brought in 2023. But not to Canada. It was sent to their home country of India by migrants residing all over the world in the form of remittances. So what exactly is a remittance? It's a term used to describe the sending back of money to families living in slow-growing economies and developing nations by their sons and daughters now living in Canada. It's a very common practice among international students who arrive in Canada to pursue an education, take up one or in most cases multiple part-time jobs to be able to afford the overpriced Canadian education as well as rent, and then also have some left to send to their families back home. The economic impact of these students benefits both countries significantly. These students not only bring immediate financial benefits to the Canadian economy through the hefty tuition fees and their contribution to the Canadian workforce, but they also play a significant role in boosting the economy of their home countries through remittances. A study by Statista in 2021 highlighted the two-sided remittance flows, showcasing the intricate financial exchanges between Canada and other nations. Specifically, India stands out as a major recipient of remittances, indicating a substantial economic linkage fostered by its 300,000 plus international students studying in Canada. Moreover, the World Bank and the World Migration Report 2022 have documented the global dynamics of remittances, with India receiving a staggering $125 billion in 2023, highlighting the critical role of these financial inflows in supporting the economies of developing countries. The economics of remittances by international students from Canada to their home countries is a significant aspect of global financial flows. Due to the sheer volume of students sending money irregularly, the combined volume of these transfers is a major contributor to the economic rise of smaller countries in recent years. The International Monetary Fund recognizes remittances as crucial financial inflows that enhance the living standards of families in the recipient countries. These funds often cover essential needs such as education and healthcare, and in more affluent households they can serve as capital for investments, thus fostering economic development at the base level. Remittances contribute to the economic stability of the receiving countries by increasing disposable income and supporting household consumption. They also play a pivotal role in improving the balance of payments, enhancing credit card ratings, and sometimes stabilizing the local currency. The World Bank's migration and remittances overview underscores the several benefits of these flows, not just as a source of personal income, but as a driver of economic growth and poverty reduction. The journey of international students from smaller countries to Canada is often a story of significant financial sacrifice and investment by their families. Many families in these countries take out loans or redirect their life savings towards the education of their children abroad, with the hope that this investment will yield substantial returns in the form of better career prospects, higher earnings, and remittances sent back home. These remittances are seen not just as means of repaying the initial financial loans, but also as a way to uplift the entire family's socio-economic status. The trend is evident through the increasing number of international students in Canada, which reflects the growing recognition of the value placed on Western education. The expectation of return on investment is very high due to how expensive the investment can be, as Western education, particularly from reputable Canadian institutions, is highly valued across the globe. Graduates with Canadian degrees often find themselves in favorable positions in the job market, able to command higher salaries and secure positions of influence due to studying in Canada. This in turn enables them to send remittances back to their families, contributing to a cycle of investment and return that benefits both the individual and the wider community. Once the students arrive to Canada, not only are they faced with the challenges that come with a post-secondary education in a foreign country, they must find means to support themselves financially, but also pay back their families back home to get them debt-free as soon as possible, considering a lot of them are forced to take out loans to send their children abroad, which is where they start to take on part-time jobs. An international student in Canada working a minimum wage job finds themselves in a unique financial ecosystem, where the dynamics of currency conversion coupled with strategic familial support amplify the impact of their earnings on their family's financial health back home. A significant portion of these students' tuition fees is often paid in advance by their families. This upfront payment, a common requirement for international students before their arrival in Canada, secures their education but also places a substantial financial burden on their families. Living arrangements for these students are typically characterized by shared accommodations, where they might reside with 5 to 10 other individuals in basements or apartments. These living conditions, while perhaps uncomfortable, are a strategic choice that keeps living expenses to a minimum, often not exceeding $500 for rent a month. Furthermore, families usually cover monthly living expenses upfront, alleviating the need for students to allocate a significant portion of their earnings towards their immediate needs in Canada. This financial structure allows international students to remit nearly all of their earnings back home. Working even at minimum wage, students can send a portion of their earnings, often half, back to their families in their home countries. When converted to Indian rupees, for example, these amounts can be substantial, dwarfing the average household income in India. This conversion not only multiplies the value of their Canadian earnings, but also represents a significant economic boost for their families. The capability to send such significant sums home is a testament to the sacrifices and strategic planning of both the students and their families. It shows the broader socioeconomic motivations behind pursuing education abroad beyond the immediate academic gains. For many families, the decision to send a member abroad for education is a calculated investment in their collective future, aiming to capitalize on the higher earning potential overseas and the favorable currency exchange rates. This setup, while challenging and demanding sacrifices, illustrates a nuanced strategy where familial support and foresight enable students to contribute significantly to their family's finances from thousands of miles away. Many of these students are enrolled in one-year programs that are specifically designed to meet the eligibility criteria for immigration pathways, such as the Canadian Experience class under the Express Entry system. These programs provide the skilled work experience in Canada required to apply for permanent residency, even though the work experience gained during periods of full-time study does not count towards this requirement. However, post-graduation work permits, or PGWPs, enable students to gain the necessary work experience after completing their studies. By choosing such educational pathways is often a secure foothold in Canada, which once achieved allows these students to transition from temporary residence to permanent residence. This status change significantly enhances their ability to earn in Canadian dollars. This strategic approach to education and immigration highlights the pragmatic decisions made by international students and their families, viewing education as not only an investment in knowledge and skills, but also as a stepping stone towards improved economic prospects of stability through permanent residency in Canada. The Canadian government allows international students to work up to 20 hours per week during regular academic sessions and full-time during scheduled breaks such as the winter and summer holidays or spring break. In smaller countries, Western education is often perceived as a prestigious benchmark, offering enhanced career opportunities and personal development that may not be readily available locally. This perception is rooted in the global repetition of Western institutions for delivering high-quality education and fostering critical thinking, innovation, and leadership skills. The return of international students from Western countries equipped with these qualifications and experiences is seen as a potential boon to the local economies and societies of their home countries. However, the impacts of postgraduate employment rates for these returning international students vary significantly across different regions and depends on the local economic conditions, the relevance of the acquired skills of the job market, and the extent of the global network that the students can leverage. Furthermore, the decision to return home or stay abroad post-graduation is influenced by various factors, including career opportunities, personal preferences, and the socioeconomic and political climate of the home country. According to a study by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, the phenomenon is known as brain game. Suggests that countries can benefit from the return of skilled professionals if the right conditions are in place, including a receptive job market and opportunities for professional growth. The overarching trend indicates a positive correlation between higher education abroad and enhanced career prospects at home. For governments and policymakers in these countries, creating an environment that values and utilizes the global exposure and advanced skills of these returnees is crucial for harnessing their potential to contribute to national development. The narrative surrounding international students in Canada often highlights the hardships they face, including being overcharged for their education and living in less than ideal conditions. Media reports tend to focus on the steep tuition fees international students are required to pay, which can be significantly higher than those for domestic students, and also on their sometimes challenging living situations, which may involve overcrowded accommodations or difficulties in finding suitable housing close to their institutions. These stories underscore the perceived unfair treatment of international students, painting a picture of individuals enduring considerable adversity for the sake of their education in Canada. However, this portrayal frequently overlooks the substantial benefits that are available to these students and their families back home. Despite the financial and personal challenges, the opportunity to study in Canada opens up a wealth of future possibilities that often justify the initial investment and sacrifices. The remittances sent back home by students can dramatically improve the economic standing for their families, enabling better access to education, healthcare, and other essential services. Moreover, international exposure, education, and skills gained in Canada equip students with a competitive edge in the global job market, something that they would not be able to get in their home countries.